Hi, my name is Amanda DeFlitch, and today I'm here to discuss some of the events in the Great Gatsby that lead to a tragic ending for many and leaves many others hurt. This story was written in 1925 by Scott Fitzgerald. It takes place in a 1920s setting in New York City. This is the story of a love triangle that could have been prevented if only one man would have moved on with his life and forget about his love for a woman that he once had. Jay Gatsby was in love with Daisy many years prior. He was sent off to the war, and when he returned, he was insistent he was going to meet up with her and rekindle a relationship that they once had. Jay Gatsby moved closer to where Daisy lived in order to have efforts to see her. The story starts off with Nick looking outside and seeing a gentleman looking out towards the light of a green light that was outside of Daisy's house. We're unaware of what this light means and what he's reaching out to in the beginning of the story. As the story moves forward, we see that Jay Gatsby eventually starts having parties, hoping that Daisy would eventually come over. When this is unable to be done, Jordan and Nick attend one of the parties. Jay Gatsby meets up with Jordan and discusses a plan that eventually he would like to see Daisy. This plan is then told to Nick because Nick and Daisy are pretty good friends. Daisy eventually comes over to Nick's house one afternoon without her husband in order to see Jay Gatsby at the time. When they get together, they rekindle a relationship that they once had. They brought back old feelings. Tom, Daisy's husband, is also having an affair on the side with a woman named Miss Wilson, which Daisy was aware of and had known about. As the story moves forward, we see that Daisy eventually invites Jay Gatsby over to their house one afternoon. Tom can see the way that Daisy talks to Jay Gatsby and can tell that something's not quite right. They all decide to go to a hotel one afternoon because the weather was so hot and they had nothing to do. On the way there, Daisy rode with Gatsby while the others rode with Tom. He's discussing along the way the fact that Daisy and Gatsby were having an affair and that he was going to confront them about it. On the car ride there, they stop at a gas station in order to get gas, and Mrs. Wilson sees Tom in Gatsby's car and notices that he's with another woman. She's unaware of who this woman is, and that's where she leaves it. They go on to the hotel, and when they arrive, Tom confronts Gatsby and Daisy about the relationship that they're carrying on. Gatsby insists that Daisy tell Tom that she's no longer in love with him and no longer wants to be with him. She's quite upset by this, but she does it anyhow, because even though she still has feelings for Tom in some way. She becomes very distraught and very upset about this, and eventually insists that she needs to go home right away. On the way home, she decides she wants to drive. On the way home from the hotel, as she's driving, Mrs. Wilson sees Daisy driving Gatsby's car. She believes it's Tom, so she runs out to see what he needs or what he's doing. When she gets to the car, Daisy doesn't realize that she's out there, and Daisy strikes her, killing her instantly. Daisy decided to go on home and forget about the accident. Gatsby, having such love for Daisy, decided he would take the fall if anything would happen. He would say that he was driving the car. Gatsby waits outside Daisy's window to make sure that she's okay that night, and eventually she goes to bed. Before that, Nick walks up to Gatsby and sees him waiting outside the window. Gatsby wants Nick to go check on her. As Nick walks up to the window, he sees Daisy and Tom sitting together talking. As Nick describes it, it looked as if they were almost conspiring, having a conspiracy together. Eventually, Gatsby goes home, and that's the end of the night for him. Later that night, Mr. Wilson is insistent on finding Mrs. Wilson's killer. He goes over to Tom and Daisy's home to confront them about the car that they were driving and who was driving when he hit Mrs. Wilson. In the distraught phase that he was in, Mr. Wilson gives, or Mr. Tom Buchanan gives Mr. Wilson the address of J. Gatsby and informs him that he was the one driving the car. Mr. Wilson then goes over to J. Gatsby's home in a frantic. When he arrives, he shoots Mr. Gatsby, leaving him dead, and turns around and kills himself. All of this could have been prevented if J. Gatsby could have just moved on and forgot about his love for Daisy. It would have never put Mrs. Wilson in the place she was in to run out to the car, and it would have ended without the tragic ending that it would have, because none of this would have began in the first place. Does anybody have any questions? I appreciate the time that everybody took to listen today. Thank you very much.